Hello and welcome to GameCube Classics. In this installment, the game is Megaman Anniversary Collection for the GameCube, released in 2004, developed by Atomic Planet and published in the West by Capcom. This is one of the, I would say, most ambitious, yet terribly failed attempts at bringing a compilation and making everything that was good about the original games to this new platform. This is a collection of the first 8 Mega Man games, as well as the 2 arcade games that were seldom remembered. Mega Man Anniversary Collection has a unique way of presenting the options menu by Mega Man running around every screen. This is essentially the ports of the Rockman Complete Works set for the original PlayStation, as well as the Super Nintendo version of Mega Man 7 and the PlayStation version of Mega Man 8. This jumbled mess gives you a collection of games that, while they sound great, this is actually the worst versions of all of these games. For one thing, if you go and play the original games, one of the first things you'll notice about the GameCube version of the game, this game was also released on the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox, the GameCube version of this game lacks all of the remixed music that was featured prominently in the PlayStation original and the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox release of this game. So, yeah, because of that, you simply get to enjoy the good old chiptunes. There's nothing wrong with the chiptunes, but, you know, it's a shame that there's only the chiptunes here. Now, I assume the reason for this has to do with the limited storage capacity of the GameCube disc. Or maybe just Atomic Planet was extraordinarily lazy. One of the new options that you can do is you can switch between weapons on the fly. This is of course taken from the Rockman Complete Works set. However, again, the Rockman Complete Works set is superior to this because there were a number of features that that game offered, or that set offered, that the GameCube and PlayStation 2 and Xbox versions of Mega Man Anniversary Collection actually removed. So this is like gypped versions of the Rockman Complete Works set. In addition to that, the GameCube version has its own problems that the PlayStation 2 and Xbox versions do not, although those versions definitely have problems as well. In this version of the game, for whatever reason, Atomic Planet decided to map the fire and shoot buttons completely backwards to the way that Mega Man works. Wherein you normally would fire with the B button and jump with the A button. In the GameCube version, you jump with the A button or you jump with the B button and you shoot with the giant A button. This is completely backwards to the way Mega Man works, and as a result, it makes the game almost unplayable until you have to actually learn the controls of this exact port of the game. You know, with all the hoops that they make you jump through, the reward just isn't there. And, you know, I really would wish that, you know, Atomic Planet would have paid more attention and made this port better than it is. One thing they did get right is keeping the rapid fire, turbo fire enabled, and mapped to the Y button, the equivalent to the PlayStation's triangle button. The game offers new difficulty modes that are both different from the original version's difficulty. This is especially true in Mega Man 2, whereas both the difficulty modes are not similar to that of Rockman 2 or Mega Man 2, but they're completely brand new. Replacing the original password features in these games is basically a memory card backed up of where your game save would be. So it's essentially a memory card backed password. Games still have their original password function, so if you want to skip around, you can still do that. So let's return to the game room and show you something else. So yeah, like I said, it includes all 6 of the original Mega Man games for the NES, which aren't bad, just, you know, they're just too bad that they have to be this version, you know? The Rockman Complete Works set music is completely void and doesn't exist at all in the GameCube version of the game, which is really quite a shame. Of course, it being on the GameCube, loading times are very quick. And here's, of course, the great Mega Man 6, a game that is often really forgotten because it came out in 1993 for the NES. All these games are present on Mega Man Anniversary Collection, except that you'd probably be better off with the real NES and the real copy of Mega Man 6. One thing they also got right was the automatic slide button mapped to the GameCube's X button. Next, I'm going to boot the most infamous Mega Man game of all, the Love It or Hate It. Actually, let's go to new game here. Mega Man 8. Mega Man 8 originally released in 1997 for the Sega Saturn, and then quickly released for the Sony PlayStation. This is the PlayStation version because PlayStation ports were easier to do than the Saturn version. This version of Mega Man 8 is actually worse than the original Saturn release, so again, it's an inferior version. Mega Man 8 is a game that came from the era when PlayStation games all had to have really extravagant FMVs, and for the most part, Mega Man 8's FMVs are really quite cool, and, you know, there's quite a few of them, except for the fact that this was done by the time when Capcom's localization teams gave us such gems as the voice acting in Resident Evil, for example. And subsequently, Mega Man 8's voice acting cast seemingly consists of hobos they hired off the street. Some of the voice actors are okay, but some of them are just mind-numbingly bad. When you sit back and look back at voice acting history, Mega Man 8 probably stands to get an award for one of the worst voice casts in gaming history. And that's really saying something considering some of the games out there. I mean, just listen to some of these gems. The best is Mega Man's voice, and of course Dr. Wily's voice, and Dr. Light's voice.
Mega Man, today we finish this! Hey, Zach! Why must I fight you? We are not enemies! Shut up!
Seriously. Anyway, see you next time.